Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. It's great to be back here on Points of Light Radio, fellowshipping with you and my guest. And today, Points of Light Radio is going to be, once again, shedding some light on an organization that, at least here in Canada and most of the rest of the world, you probably have never heard of. My guest for this segment of Points of Light Radio is Richard Dean. He's here today to talk about Prince Hall Freemasonry. Mr. Dean is a member of the Prince Hall Masonic Diamond Lodge 299 of Memphis, Tennessee. Now, this is a very storied organization, at least in the United States, and I can really only encapsulate, there's only really in time to encapsulate, shall we say, the history of this organization. So just to give you some insight, Prince Hall Freemasonry is a branch of North American Freemasonry for African Americans. It was founded by Prince Hall on September 29th, 1784. Prior to the Revolutionary War, Prince Hall and 14 other Black gentlemen petitioned for admittance to the white Boston St. John's Lodge, but were refused. After petitioning both the Grand Lodges of Ireland and England, the Grand Master of the Premier Grand Lodge of England issued a charter for African American Lodge 459 on September 29th, 1784. Now, this lodge was later renamed African American Lodge Number 1 and would become the country's first African American lodge. Now, there are many members and former members of the Prince Hall Freemasonry. I only have time to name a few. And to name but a few, there's Jesse Jackson, U.S. civil rights leader, the late Sugar Ray Robinson, championship heavyweight boxer, Duke Ellington, the jazz musician, and actor Richard Pryor. And like I said, many more. It's a very storied organization. And I encourage you to read the history of Prince Hall Freemasonry, like I said, because it's very interesting. But I will allow my guest, shall we say, to shed some more light on it. So let's have Mr. Dean shed some light on Prince Hall Freemasonry. But are you still hungry for light? Are you still searching for knowledge? Then let's just trim your lamp and follow me.
Hi, how you doing, man?
Hey, Mr. Dean, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
Nice being here, man. Nice, it's a pleasure.
You're a member of the Prince Hall Freemasons in Tennessee.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm a member of Diamond Lodge number 299, Memphis 10, Western District.
Okay, and why don't you tell my listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm right now I'm currently doing donation work. I'm working with the youth. I'm putting together a chess club I had before the pandemic for the youth, and also I just started a chess club for the elderly, because sometimes I stop by the old folks' homes and sit and chat and play chess with them, and just to keep their mind going.
Yeah.
I'm still at my third degree. It's so much that I'm still seeing, I would have been moved up to Royal Arch but I'm seeing so much in this third degree. Prince Hall Masonry is very, 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 very deep. I know a lot of Masons, Prince Hall Masons, moved up so fast and got their 33rd degree from the Royal Lodge to 33rd degree. I stuck around because I was interested in, how Prince Hall evolved, what battles he had to go through just to get the charter. Prince Hall, he not only just did it by himself, he had some help. He had one guy, his name was, let me think, I think it was David Walker. He was a abolitionary. He fought for the civil rights back in the days. He was anti-slavery for, from people getting down south, being brutal. Also, his mom was she was free. She was a free slave, but his dad was a slave. So by his mom being a free slave, he was automatic to be a free. So it's a lot, man. It's so much. Even here in Memphis, we have Benjamin Hooks. He was a Grand Master, Prince Hall Mason, and he's done a lot for the civil rights movement and equal rights for all people. It's just so much, man. I'm still seeing stuff,
Well, some of my previous guests from not just Freemasonry, but other organizations always say that it's good to take your time going through the degrees.
Right.
You mean more when you take time going through. In fact, my first guest talked about that, where Freemasonry was running like day-long degrees and things and he said, no, he was glad at least in his jurisdiction, they'd gotten rid of them because there's something to be said for taking your time going through a degree system. And as I've often said, having been a member of the military, you could always tell the people that had spent a little more time in rank and built their way up through the rank structure, taken time in each rank. You could always see the guy, and I could tell the guys who'd rushed through the ranks because they had no understanding of what they were into or even understanding of the regiment they were in or anything like that. It's good to take your time. It really is.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. I'm very, very proud to be a part of this organization. My whole family, man, from my dad to my niece, it runs deep.
Oh, your parents were in it. You.
Yeah, my dad was a Mason, Prince Hall.
Okay, yeah.
And so it runs through my family,
Okay.
And I saw it as a kid coming up in the 70s. I never knew
until now to join.
I've been in ever since 2000, ever since 1999.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Been in ever since 1999. I'm still seeing so much. I mean, when I'm just basically looking at, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to go, ready to get my roll out.
Mm-hmm.
I find something else, and
okay.
It's just so. I mean,
well, I was going to say, shed some light on it. What are you finding so far about Prince Hall Freemasonry? Give us a little background on it too. Like you say, it's been around since when?
And man, it's been around. It's been around before Christ. Before. I mean,
Prince Hall Freemasonry, shall we say? Does it predate the Confederation in the United States, or does it?
Now, for as United States, for as Prince Hall, it's interesting because when Prince Hall was trying to form his own lodge. Mm-hmm. Here in the States, he was getting shoot down. It was hard. You know, man, you call it, you can be a Mason. You can't do this, can't do that, you know. But once again, the British was the ones that okayed it. They was the ones that, hey man, we need to look at this right here. He's doing all the steps. He's doing everything that a man in his status should do, you know. And he was taken out on the sea, but it was just here in America. They just weren't acknowledging us, you know. It was mostly the white lodges was like we ain't finna acknowledge them. And he fought and fought, man. And it once again the British was the ones that stepped up. Matter of fact, it was one of the it was one of the most powerful lodges that was in British, you know, in Britain. Had stepped in and told them, hey, we finna give you this charter. And they
Are there Prince Hall lodges in Great Britain, sorry, or other parts of the world right now?
I think so. I think it is. I'm not for sure, but I think it is some Prince Hall lodges in Britain, or I think some was in London. I'm not for sure. I haven't did a lot of research there yet, but I have a friend of mine. He be in and out of London all the time, and he was just telling me recently that he see a lot of Prince Hall stuff. So
okay. Are the qualifications for Prince Hall the same as the other like lodges, blue lodges, in the rest of Freemasonry?
Yes, it's everything basically the same. You have I mean, all of it is the same. You know,
your meetings are formatted the same way, things like that.
We format the same way. We open the same way. In some cases, some lodges they open differently, but it's still similar in the same way that we do things too. So we open our lodges basically the same. Our initiations, more likely, probably the same too. Everything is basically the same for us, you know, becoming a Mason. You know, we meet every first and third Monday. You know, we have certain picnics. We have galas. We have certain things, you know, for Prince Hall, certain stuff that we do, we fundraise. Right now I'm doing something on my own, which I've been reaching out at the Salvation Army for women. And I got a couple of brothers in with me that's been helping me out with this. You know, we do this not just on special occasions, because I feel like if you're gonna do something on special occasion, it really don't mean nothing. You know, it don't mean that just because it's Thanksgiving, let's give food.
Yeah, I'm not a big holiday fan myself. I'm really not.
You know, it don't mean nothing if you got to have a phone bill to show them where you stayed that you need food. It just don't make no sense. So it don't take all that. We go to the Salvation Army for Women, and we donate every month. We don't skip no month. It's consistently rolling in with everything that they need for as toothpaste, soap, deodorant, food. I even sometimes go there to teach the kids about, you know, loving themselves, and also, you know, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail in life. It's okay, but you can't throw a pity party. But we basically open the same way. We have our raise night, you know, we'll raise the gas through that fourth Saturday, and bring some new initiatives through to get initiated. But other than that, everything is basically the same. You know,
do you hold any offices, by the way, in your lodge? Do you hold like chairs?
Well, in my lodge, like I said, I don't. I'm still. It's a lot of. We got a lot of young guys now in the lodge.
Okay.
Not a whole lot, but a lot of young guys in the lodge, and I do make my meetings, but I don't make them all the time because I have other stuff that I'm doing. You know, I'm doing, man. I'm doing so much because I just walked in the door. I was like, oh, let me go and do this. And I just walked in the door from doing something at the Boys and Girls Club, and we was in the middle of doing stuff, and we were doing chess tournaments too. So I'm constantly on the go, man. I have a commercial appeal interview I'm supposed to be at next week, and I might have to cancel it because I got so much stuff I'm doing. I'm just doing for my city, man. I try to be visible in my community. I just try to show a little love that all Masons should do. Be visible in your community. Be active in your community. Show the people in your community that you care. If you can do that, you eventually say, oh, them are some good guys, and I would want to be a part of it. And I basically want to just set the trend of just being out there in the streets, talking to people, the homeless, the unfortunate people, trying to bring them into this light, because it's a beautiful thing to be in, man. Some people expect it to get in the lodge and expect more.
Yeah.
And I want this. I'm supposed to have this. And you have to work for it. You can't expect to say, okay, I'm in here. So where's the secret? Where's this?
Yeah.
And it get backfired. A lot of people get discouraged because they don't have enough patience to realize, it's the individual. It's the person itself.
Now, I want to ask you a little bit more about your lodge, though. What are the dues for your lodge? Someone asking, like, what is your dues cost, annual dues?
Our annual dues it run $100 a year.
Okay, yeah, very reasonable.
But you can break it down, like every first third month. Yeah, we can put $20 here, and just walk it down and keep it. There's a lot of brothers that's inactive, and a lot of them that is inactive. If they inactive in our lodge, they still, even if they ain't pay they due, they still give money to the lodge. Mm-hmm. Because even if they ain't got enough, they might give $20 here or there, and hey man, I'm busy right now, I can't, but I want my lodge to still thrive.
Exactly. It shouldn't be all about money. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. So we it's not about it's about keeping our lodge up and running, because it's a lot of lodges just hurting, man. It's a lot of lodges. It ain't.
The pandemic cut in even further. It really did.
It's really, really hurting, man. I know a couple of lodges that they barely making it, man. I'm like, wow. And they come from it come from letting certain people in who shouldn't even been in the first place. And they in these ranks and they don't know what these ranks is all about. Mm-hmm. And it'll deteriorate a lodge. Mm-hmm. It'll deteriorate a lodge, it'll just suck from the lodge. You have to be active. You have to be right in it. You got to have passion. You got to
get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah, exactly. And it is just like your home. You want to come home to a quiet house, everything paid, your bills paid, you got your nice food in the refrigerator, you got your beverage you like to drink. Everything is just like your own home. Lodges is just like that, it's brotherly love, unconditional love.
By the way, what's the dress code in your lodge? Suit and tie?
Our dress code is more or less it's casual.
Is it? Oh, okay.
But you can't wear no tank top and.
No, I understand that. But I know a lot of them like the suit and tie, or at least a shirt and tie type thing. Yeah.
Some do. Some of them do. Go to the suit and tie, the black suit. With the black tie. Some do come like that, but it's more casual,
Do you ever see, by the way, sorry, do you ever see a time where you have, shall we say, mixed Prince Hall lodges, men and women, or even allowing whites and blacks together or something like that? Is like, I know Morehouse, for instance, college in the States now accepts whites, Asians, things like that.
You know what? Down here in the South, we just did a thing with we signed something saying that first everything was segregated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the white lodges didn't acknowledge Prince Hall. Mm-hmm. But now, man, it's beautiful to see all us come together, man. Good. At first, it wasn't like that. It was like a lot of us, we was like, man, this is never gonna happen, and it finally happened. I was just in the store today, and man, I had a different brother. No, he was a white brother. He said, "Oh man, I love your shirt, man. You with the craft." I said, "Yes, I am." And we just talked, man. We talked like we knew each other, man. And it was straight up respect, And he was saying, "Man, I always wanted to chat with a Prince Hall brother." He said, "Man, I always want to chat with you too." With this stuff, man. It was like we all wanted this to happen, and it finally happened. It finally happened, man. It finally. I think it happened before the pandemic.
Okay. Well, let's discuss your YouTube channel. I'm going to leave a link for it in the description section of this segment. What exactly is the goal of your YouTube channel? What are you trying to achieve there?
Oh man, I'm doing a little exercise, a journey about my life, exercise. Now, I'm also doing chess on there too. I have my chess club, my Orange Man chess club on there. I talk about them and just talk about the certain situations of my city, what it's going through, and just in the communities in my cities. It's just so much violence, going on in my communities down here. And I know it's not just in Memphis, it's all over the world, man. It's just ridiculous. Some people, they do these crazy things, and it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. I don't care what color you are or what you do. If you're wrong, you're wrong, man. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. I'm not in the politic type stuff.
No.
I just looks at what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, and I don't want to be on the wrong side.
And I think you'll agree with me. I think that's one thing that when you talk about Freemasonry or anything like that, at a time in a really polarized world, it's good for men and brethren and sisters to come into a place like that, where it doesn't matter what your station in life, everybody is equal, and it's a time where you leave all the division at the door and you come in, you break bread together, you have a time together, things like that. Isn't that right?
Man, yes, man, I totally agree, brother. I totally agree. I see it every day. Like when I go over to my mom's house in Orange Mound, and half their street, just my mom's street stay on, half of that street is Prince Hall Mason.
Wow.
And we it goes all the way back, man. It goes back even before I was even born, man. And they still holding that street down, and it's beautiful to see. But I just wish when I was growing up in Orange Mound, it was beautiful community, man. It was so beautiful, man. It was like real love.
Yeah.
And maybe 1985, 86, you just start seeing the doctors move out the neighborhood community. You start seeing the teachers move out. You start seeing the science teachers move out. Mm-hmm. You just start seeing the shuffle, and they would leave the house to their next of kin, and they wouldn't even appreciate them because it was it's still right to this day. It's a nice community, but it's deteriorating, man. Right now we got gangs running through there. Oof. On certain streets. It's not on all of it. It's like a night and day side. You can go on one side of Orange, man. It's like, damn, okay. And you go on the other side, and it's like, ooh, And And that's the
And where is
side.
Orange Mound, by the way? Sorry, where is Orange Mound? Is that part of Memphis or is that
It's, it's,
suburb?
part, it's, part, it's part of Memphis. It's
Okay.
part of Memphis. It's one of the oldest Black communities in the world besides Harlem, New York.
Okay.
It's second to Harlem. It was a very rich community, man. People with pride there. It just, man, I just hate to see it, deteriorate the way it's going. But it's slow coming back, but it could be better.
Oh, for sure. There's always room. But what has Freemasonry done for you? I think we'll close with this. What was Freemasonry done for you? You've mentioned a few things, but what do you feel that Prince Hall Freemasonry?
Freemasonry done for me, man. It have opened all the lights. I haven't got opened all of them yet because it's
a journey.
It's a journey, man. It's a universe.
Yeah.
And the universe, man, it's beautiful. I tell you, man, it's beautiful, man. My life I'm fortunate to say my life have been close to perfect.
Yeah, that much more fulfilling.
I mean, the brotherhood is just right. It's right. It's a bond. And man, I've been places, I met people, and it just made me a better man and all. Man, it made me have compassion because I saw my grandparents, how much compassion they had for people. And I always had that compassion, man. I don't care what color you are. I have compassion for people who really deserve compassion and love. And that's one thing Prince Hall Freemasonry done for me. It brought me closer to making people happy, and it made me a better man, man. It actually made me a better man. I saw how my grandfather walked it. I saw how my daddy walked in the light, and man, I just was amazed. I was amazed. I was in a dream, and my dream came true when I became a Prince Hall Mason in 1999. I went through my steps in apprentice, fellowcraft, and master mason. I went through there. I mean, I rode the goat. I was raised, and when I got through with all that, I saw a unity of just it just straight up just love. I mean,
that's good.
And I talked to certain guys who was someone Prince Hall Mason, someone who's not Prince Hall Mason, and they were like, "Man, what lodge you? Man, my lodge don't do this, don't." And I hear it all the time, but it goes back to who you bring in.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring in, it's just like what you eat in life. If you eat out of a box, if you eat some food out of a box, constantly eating food out of a box, and not organic, or your vegetable food, you eating box food in McDonald's, Burger King, KFC all the time, your body is going to deteriorate.
Yeah.
It's what you put. That's why I love about Prince Hall Masonry and Freemasonry, is because it's what you put in it.
Yeah.
If you put in organic, some of the organic in there, and that organic gonna grow.
Yeah.
That seed is gonna grow.
They make good men better. That's what they say.
It make good men better, man. It really do. It really do, man. I mean, it don't matter what religious belief you believe in. It makes them better, man.
Well,
really.
Mr. Dean, I really appreciate your time today. We had a bit of a time trying to hook this up, and I really appreciate your time and taking the time to talk to me, my listeners and viewers today, sir.
Hey man, it's a pleasure. I got your number, man. We're gonna talk a lot, man, because I really like your show, man. I like.
I appreciate that.
I really like what you're doing, man. You're doing good.
Thank you, sir, and have yourself a great day.
Okay, man. So what would be?
Okay. Mr. Dean, brothers and sisters, wasn't that great fellowshipping with him? Really, wasn't it? I mean, as I keep saying, I feel like I've made another friend here. I feel like I'm making a lot of friends here on Points of Light Radio. with every one of these guests I bring on here. And some takeaways I have from this particular segment is I love how his views coincide with mine. You know, the history of these fraternal organizations is worth studying, preserving. And as I said to you in the introduction here, that in a signal segment, we only have time to encapsulate these organizations. And I really do encourage you to seek out more light on both, you know, Prince Hall Freemasonry, but also the other fraternal organizations that you see featured here on Points of Light Radio. You know, and the other thing I take away from this is as I've said before, many of my guests, but you know, here you really see it on display. I love his passion, not just for Prince Hall Freemasonry, but for that great community work that Mr. Dean does on a daily basis. There's such a need for those things he was talking about, going into old folks' homes and spending time with the elderly and trying to mentor up and point our young people in the right direction as well. There's such a need for that in today's world, right? And again, I love how he invited himself back. He's always welcome to come back here on Points of Light Radio. And I'd love to hear more about Prince Hall Freemason, as I'm sure you would too. But that's all I really have time for today, brothers and sisters. But before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also welcome your comments and input. In the details section of this particular segment, you can see the link to Mr. Dean's YouTube page. And you can also see the links to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is @PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel and my Points of Light Radio store, where you can go purchase Points of Light Radio merchandise, as well as some other fraternal merchandise. I also want to point out that Points of Light Radio is available to advertise your fraternal store or event. Just go to my Facebook page and you will see the email address where you can set up that sort of thing with me. But, you know, brothers and sisters, it's been a pleasure fellowshipping with you. And until we meet again, just step into the light.